Hi, I'm here, Fiona from Sizend Town News. Firstly, congratulations on your award.
Thank you very much.
Can you tell me a little bit about your newspaper?
Yes, of course. The paper itself is 26 years old, and it's a local community newspaper. So it relates very much to Syston in Leicestershire, which is where we're based. Yeah. So and we do all sorts of things every month.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a great element about it is you really like to centre your articles on uplifting content.
We do.
Yeah?
Yes, we do. We like to print good news rather than bad news. We leave that to the nationals and the regionals.
Yeah.
But yes, we like to focus on what's happening locally and keep our residents informed about what it is. And yeah, we tend to look after clubs and societies as well as charities. But we also have space for advertisers because that's where we get our revenue from.
Yeah.
So without that, we wouldn't be able to print.
No, absolutely. Yeah, and also sort of aligns with my next question is it's very community focused. They sort of oversee the whole process like distribution. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, we do. We do everything apart from printing.
Mm-hmm.
So myself and my PA, Avis, there's just the two of us, and Avis works 2 days a week. So we publish 7,400 copies an issue, and we do 11 issues across the year because our print deadline is actually falls round about on Christmas Day. Mm-hmm. So our December, January one is a double issue. But apart from that, we're monthly. Mm-hmm. And the articles, do centre. We do things that are wider if it affects the people of Syston. So it has to be, I suppose, the key to our articles is that if it's relative to the people of Syston, then we will print it. And but we do focus very much on events and what's happening in the town and trying to keep people informed. Contentious issues might be planning, like most places. But we just try to give them the facts.
Yes.
We don't try to put a spin on anything.
No.
So if we print anything about planning, it is what is being suggested, and we just leave that for the people to make their own decision. Our feedback from our residents is that they love it. They think it's the best thing since sliced bread, shall we say. But yeah, they do love it. They often say to us if we're out and they see us that they really treasure it and think it's think it's a good little newspaper because it informs them of what's happening locally. And and on top of that, for distribution, we rely on volunteers, and we've got 70 at the moment. It changes, but we've got 70 at the moment, which ranges probably from doing the street they live on to we have one volunteer does over 700 copies a month. So they love walking because there's a lot of walking involved. But we couldn't do it without them. Doing 7,400 between the two of us, it would take us all month to do. Even though we do quite quick when we're doing it. But it's very much a pleasure to do, really.
Absolutely.
It's
uniting the community is just great, really. Yeah.
It is, yes, and it does unite them. And we always say if anybody's bored in Syston, they haven't read Syston Town News because there is so much going on in Syston. We have a little directory which covers not just businesses but the clubs and societies, and that goes from so if you're looking at marketing side of us, we say we do cradle to the grave because we have children involved with our word search that we do sort of Christmas, summer, Easter, but we do a crossword every month, and that's open to anybody, any age group, and they win £10, which doesn't sound a lot, but it's surprising what reaction you get when you ring them and say you've won.
It all sounds great.
Yeah, we love it. Yeah.
And also another great aspect is you sort of nurture a lot of young individuals who are wishing to break into the industry, which is really hard. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. Before I bought the paper, I was in education, and I suppose it's a sort of from there. I used to deal with students going out on work placement, and so once I owned the paper, I got contacted by local schools looking for students, GCSE or A level. We can't offer a traditional work experience, but what we do is give them the opportunity to write up about an event that's happening locally or something that's happening in their school, and then we get it published, and then they can use it for applications to university. Or currently we've got a young lady who's just done her degree. So she's actually graduated from university with a photography degree, and so she's trying to build up a portfolio. So she's been doing some articles for us and photographing, and she's brilliant. We love her. She's great.
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah, and would you say you have a particular philosophy or ethos that really makes you so successful in the community?
I think it is just being community minded. I think to do something like a local community newspaper, you've got to love the community you live in. Absolutely. And you have to engage with anybody and everybody. And I think that's just the ethos, that we are community minded and community based, and feel that we'd like to think we're the heart of the community. Not sure how true that is, but that's what we'd like to think.
I'm sure it's true, honestly. Yeah.
But that's about where we are. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. And finally, do you have any exciting future plans, or alternatively, any recent milestones that you'd like to talk about?
Yes, we have a local mystery knitter called Syston Knitting Banksy, or SKB for short. And she started in 2019, and I went and took a photograph of one of the first things she did, which was the head and shoulders of a World War One soldier who came back from the war, and it was around remembrance, and it just went viral, as the phrase is, and it hit over 1 million in that year, and it's up to about 1.7 million likes around the world. And from that, it encouraged her to do a few more, and she's been doing toppers quite regularly since then. And we've collaborated with her over the last 2 years to create a calendar, which the funds have all gone to local charities, 2 local charities. The first year we had an amazing year, and we're able to give the charities £2,500 split between the 2. This year was a bit quieter because of the cost of living problems everybody's facing, but we still managed to sell £1,200 worth, and so they had £600 each this year, for which they're both independent charities, so don't get any funding, they're self-funded. So they were really amazed. And we're doing silent auctions as well at the moment. We're trying to raise funds for a 2-year-old boy who's got a very rare condition and needs a specialist bed. So SKB is auctioning 5 of her most popular toppers. So we're just in the process of doing that now. The closing date's the 14th of June, and we've had quite a few bids in already. And we will announce it in the next issue who's won which one.
Amazing. It's just such a great cause, really.
It's fabulous. And again, it's very local.
Yes.
And it is very, most people, I mean, the people who live in Syston are very generous. They are very generous, and anything charity based, they will contribute towards. So, it warms your heart to know people are that way inclined. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with me, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.